I'm Mark Wilson. Thanks for joining me today. So we're going to go over how the best way to smoke a chicken so when you end up at the end of the cook you have a nice crispy skin to it, a lot of flavor on it, and not the soft skin that kind of sloughs off. I've had a lot of people ask me the best way to do this. I've got it down to the simplest way possible, and it'll work whether you're in the cooking it in something like a vertical smoker, offset smoker, electric, or heck, even in the oven, because nobody wants to end up with that soft, smooth skin. Kind of reminds me of that one time when we lived in the neighborhood and I had a 10-speed bike and my buddies all had BMX bikes, and we went up and down the concrete ditches, so I figured my BMX bike handled it fine. My 10-speed could too. Except those soft, smooth tires on a 10-speed didn't quite grip the side of the concrete ditch. So, yeah, they kind of left me in a bind there with a strawberry that went from my calf all the way to my butt. And this was the 80s, so back then, all you could buy were those shorty shorts. Let's get back to the chicken. Let's make sure we don't end up with something soft on your end of your cook for your chicken, and show you how to end up with it crispy every time. So one thing I've done in the past for cooking for years is basically I would have it sit upright. The chicken sit upright, put a can there, whether it be a beer can, whether it be a Coke can, have it filled with different spices to basically get flavor infused into the chicken breast and the inside of the chicken. I've gotten away from that over the past several years because it basically sometimes I prefer to have this really thoroughly seasoned on the inside, and it's kind of hard to do with a beer can, although it looked kind of cool. The reality is, it just wasn't doing a lot as opposed to having this thing split open. It gets more smoke into it as well. You get a nice even smoke flavor to it. And another thing that I do to it is chop off these little bits off the end, especially if I'm having a large cook. Sometimes I'll let them stay on, but if I'm having a large cook, what I'll do is I don't like to waste a lot of things, so I chop those off. If I have a bunch of them, I'll make like a chicken stock out of it. Let's get back to taking care of the chicken. The key to success, if you've seen my videos, I feel like is preparation for everything. So we want to prep the meat. We want to prep this bird as best we possibly can. And if you ever had chicken from a smoker before, you're looking at basically taking some lean pieces of the meat, basically the breast, the wings, and smoking it for a long period of time. And they don't have a lot of fat in them, as opposed to the thighs and the legs. And if you're used to smoking things like ribs, Boston butts, briskets, you roast, you realize they have a lot of fat that renders down during the smoke period. So one thing for preparation for this is to take the chicken, and what I do is I put it in a brine, and I brine it I want to do it for like 24 hours. If you can do it for 8, that's fantastic as well. Don't want to really do it less than 8 because it takes a while, because what you're doing is you're creating a brine, which is nothing more than a salty mixture. And I have a recipe for it down below. It works perfect for chicken. And you're basically getting it to penetrate these muscle fibers to put more moisture into the bird, which is a key aspect for making sure that it doesn't dry out, because nobody likes dry chicken. Nobody. So the brine takes care of that, and having it split open allows us to have access to the inside of this, so we can season it all up and take care of it. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to season it. I've got some Mardi Gras season, which works fantastic with this recipe. The seasoning is so fantastic that you can basically put it on this thing, take it out there, put it in the smoker, go through the process we're going to go through for smoking it, and pull it off, and it's just fine. And then if you start putting barbecue sauce on top of it, it tastes even better. So I'm going to get to it. I'm going to spread my Mardi Gras seasoning all over it. So I'll be right back. I like to put some oil all over it, and then put the seasoning on top of it. Oil just kind of helps. It gives it a nice little flavor. This is just olive oil. I mean, we're only cooking it like 250 at the most out there. That's about the highest temperature you want to have on it. So just put the olive oil, massage it around, get it all over there. We'll season, get the legs, get the seasoning out. So this will blend. Put it liberally all over it. And get the edges. And spread it on the back. Do the same, repeat. Then we're going to take this thing out there. We're going to put it on the smoker. And I'm going to cook this just the way you see it now. This is how it's going in. Smoker's ready. Chicken's ready. I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to let it go for 2 hours. What temperature we're really looking for is 140. But after 2 hours, we're going to saturate this thing with more oil. And then we'll get back to it. See you in a little bit. We hit 140. That's what we were looking for. And now we're going to baste it with oil. Get it covered. Flip it over, do the same to the other side. And then we're going to crank up the heat on this thing to about 450 degrees. And let that go until we hit 165 for the breast. And basically, if you have a whole split chicken, that's the temperature you want to go for. If you had it in quarters or had it in thighs and legs and breast and wings, the breast part you'd want to pull at 165. The thighs you want to cook to 185 because it renders more of that collagen, and it tastes so much better that way. Even though technically it's done at 165, 185 for the thighs is perfect. Let me get to it. We've hit a mark. Temperature we want for the bird and the breast, 165. Be going about 450. A little bit more than that because I don't have a digital thermometer that regulates this process. It's all me. So now it's time to pull it. I'm going to take it inside, let it rest for a little bit, at least about 10 minutes before I even think about cutting it up. And allow those juices move back and forth throughout the meat. And then we'll reconvene inside. There you have it. Nice, dark, crispy skin. Or crispy skin smoked chicken. It doesn't take long. It's really simple. 2 hours. Generally, you hit that 140 in the breast. You crank it up to 450, and then it's like not long after that, and this is what you get. Now, if you wanted to put a sauce on it, and there's the Alabama white sauce, which is fantastic. There's a link for that down below. Any of your favorite barbecue sauces, you would want to do it about the time the temperature hit about 150 or so, which happens fairly quickly. And I tell you, it'll just caramelize in there. It just makes it taste. The smoke will get the smoke will get into the sauce and make it taste even better. It's phenomenal. So anyway, let me know what you think. If you like the video, like and subscribe. It's always kind of helpful. Hit me up at Cooking with Wilson, and that's at Gmail, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, whichever one helps you out. And let me know what you think about it, because I'll be curious to know. Keep this in mind. Time determines when someone comes into your life. Your heart determines who you want in your life. And your behavior determines who stays in your life. Keep that in mind. The recipes for these are down in the description below. They're also in volume 2 of the cookbook. There's a link for that down below as well. All proceeds will be going to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. If you or someone you know is in crisis, please text 988. And if you would like to donate directly, please feel free to do so. That is directly down below in the description of this video. All right. Take care. Be kind.